Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Kraus.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. What does that mean, Ian?
It means it's time for the standard Q&A, where the question's coming from this week.
Oh, they're coming from the wonderful places of our February and January live streams. So I went back and dug up some older questions from those, and now we're going to get to them here. So
we run our live shows, which are sponsored by our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast and Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast. The last Saturday of the month, standardly. Sometimes things happen, but that's what we aim to do. So if you want to catch us this month, we're going to be shooting for March 26th.
Nice. We're gonna be going live. Do it live. But not right now.
That's neither here nor there. Right now, we have the regular standard Q&A.
We got two questions to start us off, actually, from two different folks, but they're kind of related, so we're grouping them together. First question is from Michael B. Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles are Pokemon trainers. What are their starters? And then we have Dragon's Den of Variety asking, if Sonic and friends each were Pokemon trainers, which Pokemon do you see being their ace Pokemon?
We get a lot of Sonic cross Pokemon questions.
We get a lot of Sonic cross a lot of things questions.
Which just is a testament to the versatility of the franchise. But
pretty much, yeah.
I just spitballing here, but for starters, Sonic will take a Froakie because Tails told him that Greninja has like the highest base speed stat of any of the starters, and Sonic is not patient enough to do the research himself. Tails will go with a Finnegan, did a Fox Biases, and Knuckles will grab a Cyndaquil because, it's a fiery Echidna. It's also one of the fire types that doesn't turn into a fighting type, but he's going to train it. It's going to become a fighting type. Just you wait and see. He'll make it happen.
Yeah.
As for their aces, we'll say Sonic goes with Electrode because, again, Tails said, well, it does have the fastest speed stat and you can raise it really easy. And he's like, yep, done, cool. There's faster things, don't care. I mean, Sonic, if you just put a little effort, nope, no time for it. All right, fine.
Effort.
Tails would min-max, and there's probably a better answer for this, but I don't really know the meta. So I'm just going to say Gliscor for Tails. It's a really strong flying type. And Tails, I don't think, would devote too much effort into raising legendaries. Sure, he wants to challenge them, but he would find that a little too easy. He wants to earn his badges. And Knuckles will go to the effort to get himself a Machamp because it has 4 fists. Therefore, he's super strong. He's the best at fighting.
Yes.
It's like, Knuckles, that's not how it works. Yes, it is. 4 fists. Count them. All right, Knuckles. That's fine.
Yeah, it's more fists equals better fighting. It's like swords. More swords equals better. Yes. You think one sword is good. Add another sword, it's even better. That's how it works, right?
And there's like this whole sub-story where he trades it to Rouge to get it to evolve, but she doesn't trade it back and steals it, and he has to chase her down. And...
Of course. And then it gets broken into a billion pieces, and he's got to go collect them all. Put it back together. Put your Machamp back together. I'm being asked, would Sonic's be a standard Electrode or a Hisuian Electrode? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Do the Hisuian variants still exist, or did they die off over time?
I don't know. Sonic is there. I'm
thinking, Sonic in modern Poke times. So your regular Cantonian Electrode.
Oh, okay. Sure. All right, let's get on our next question here from Quaggle Gaggle. Have either of you had any experience with Super Monkey Ball?
I played a demo at some point and very quickly learned I did not have the patience for Super Monkey Ball.
I love Super Monkey Ball, but yes, it is very, very, very brutal. It's very difficult, very frustrating, but it's a lot of fun, I always kind of like those sorts of games where you roll around and try not to fall off. Might be why I like Sonic. Here's a question from Francisca A. Belle wants to break the Badniks programming, if I get it right. But she knows that there are tiny animals trapped in some of the Badniks, right?
Yeah, and that will be interesting to get into for various reasons, but I don't want to get into that right now. Suffice to say, it's a neat idea that Evan has touched upon. We'll see where she takes it.
I am looking forward to it. Maybe, unless it's horrifying. Here's one from Blue Stinger. What do the Skunk Brothers like to eat?
Oh, anything. They ain't picky. Like they'll eat the worst of the junk food and the highest caliber of cuisine with the same amount of gusto and rate it all the same.
Sounds good. Here's one from Gracie C. Have you seen the Cuphead show yet? What are your thoughts?
Bits and pieces. And what I've seen is cute.
See,
Um
before this stream, I didn't even know there was a Cuphead show. So that's how out of the loop I am.
I wish from what I've seen, I wish the humor was a little snappier paced. I feel like it's a little slow, but maybe that's just me having been influenced by all this rapid fire media nowadays. It doesn't need to be like Johnny Test levels of whiplash. That's obnoxious. But I just kind of wish it was a tiny bit snappier. But what I've seen, the jokes land and the voice acting solid, and the premise is fun.
Nice. I'll have to check it out at some point. Here's a question from Supersonic93. What do you and Kyle think of Tales of Symphonia Dawn of the New World? P.S. Emil and Marta deserve more love.
How about this, Supersonic 93? My black cat is named Tenebrae.
Yeah.
That should tell you right there what my opinion is.
And your other black cat is named Midna, so, you know.
Yeah. Ali and I have talked numerous times about, well, if we get another pet, what's another darkness themed video game character that we can name it after? We've started a theme here. We need to follow it.
Yep.
I'm a little more hung up on that than she is, but still. Have you played it? I know you're not a huge RPG guy.
I have played a little bit, but I have not really dabbled too far into it. I played through the original actually.
Oh wow.
The thing is, the Tales series I like the Tales series a lot just because it's more of a action oriented RPG rather than just turn based. So, but my actual time dedication to sit down and playing through most of them is low. I've played through most of Fantasia and all of Symphonia and little bits and pieces here and there of the other ones. So, but obviously, I mean, I like Symphonia a lot. So, but that was ages ago since I played it. But I have not really played much of the follow up, other than just a tiny bit of it.
I feel like it's kind of the black sheep of the family because it doesn't have nearly the same production value
Right.
as Symphonia, because I believe most of the team was working on Vesperia.
And the voice cast was changed, wasn't it?
A lot of them, yeah.
Yeah.
And Vesperia was the big title and was getting a simultaneous global release, which is the first time they had done that for the franchise.
Right.
So Dawn of the New World kind of had the crumbs. And yeah, the lack of the voice cast, or a lot of the returning voice cast, was sour for some people.
Yeah.
But I thought it was fun. And the very beginning, when you play as Emil before he gained anime shonen protagonist powers, is kind of hard to get through, but that's the point, is to show you just how weak and flimsy he is. And then when he meets Tenebrae and he gains his powers, it's like, oh, now I can do things. But it's a little rough around the edges, I'll admit. But Emil and Marta are fun characters. Ratatosk himself has an interesting arc. The various endings you can get, depending on that one crucial duel, are kind of depressing if you do it wrong. Oh gosh, what was the one guy's name? Hold on, I want to double check this. Yeah, there we go. Richter is a great antagonist, rival type character who's playing 4D chess with like everybody. You don't really figure out his end game until literally the end of the game, and you're like, oh, he actually won. Okay, and this is a good thing.
Convenient.
And Aaliyah is way better versed on the greater lore and such, but Dawn of the New World does a lot to bridge the gap, or at least set the pieces to bridge the gap between Symphonia, which is a prequel to the first game of the whole franchise, Fantasia.
Right.
So, there were questions left open at the end of Symphonia. Well, how do you get from point A to point B? And Dawn of the New World kind of frames that to say, okay, this is how it would get there. So it did a lot of good work. And Emil and Marta endure. They show up in the various gacha games, and Emil's ridiculously broken speed and attack seems to endure in every incarnation. They get their variants, so
nice. That's good. Yeah,
it's worth a play if you haven't had a chance to experience it. It's not a bad game. It's just it is a little jarring to go from Symphonia to the sequel. It's a little rough around the edges, but it's still good. It's still good.
I'm being the suggestion for your next dark themed pet is the name suggestion is Mephiles.
Nah.
Mephi. You're Mephi. Let's get into the question here from Metal Skulkbane. Iron Dominion, I assume they mean Iron Dominion, had all con characters except General Hun. Did you keep him for later, or just assumed, no one's crazy enough to care about this guy and bother me about it later?
To be perfectly honest, I had to look up who that was.
Uh-oh.
Like, I like to mine my minutia, but even he was like, who? So if we had a plan for him at some point, it fell by the wayside because he was not important. Or maybe I misremembered and thought that he got blown up. I don't know. No, there is no long lost plans for General Hun.
Well, what about Sir Connery? Bring him back.
Sir Connery went out like a boss.
Yeah, it's true.
I say thee nay.
Of course. Of course.
Oh, excuse me, Sir Connery. They gave him the mustache. It would be, I say thee nay.
Yep.
Wall the dog now, Sonic.
Now it's being requested that we do a Sir Connery Q&A episode.
Oh, God. Well, you've set the precedent. You throw enough money at us, it'll happen.
Maybe. Think about it. Here's a question from Franco A. Ian, if Capcom asked you to make a comic about Street Fighter or Darkstalkers, which one would you pick?
Darkstalkers.
Darkstalkers, yes.
Yeah. Darkstalkers without a hesitation.
Oh, yeah.
Like, nothing against Street Fighter. It's plenty cool, and it would be fun to try to tackle its rat's nest of a continuity.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I could bring to the table that Udon didn't do already, but yeah, it'd still be an interesting challenge. But Darkstalkers is just so much more interesting to me at a glance. The characters are more interesting. It's got that kind of weird science fantasy meld.
It's like kind of classic horror with anime sensibilities, kind of like that. It's pretty wild. So I'd like to see your take on Darkstalkers.
Like, Dimitri he just oozes charisma.
Yeah.
I basically just want to write the book to write Dimitri.
Yeah.
There was like a 4-part OVA way back in the day, and the first episode is fire, man. It is gorgeous to behold. It's super interesting. I'm like, yeah, I'm totally into Darkstalkers now. I've never played it, but I am 100% a fan. And then the rest of the OVA is kind of crap.
Uh-oh.
Like, unwatchably bad. Like, I bought the box set because so I like the first episode was a single VHS at Blockbuster, okay,
mm-hmm.
that I rented over the summer. And in college, I bought the box set on Faith. And I had met one of my lifelong friends, Dave. Dave, if you're listening, hey buddy. And he's like, "Oh, cool! I haven't seen it. Isn't it good?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. You want to borrow it?" And so he watches it before I can. And he admitted later that I thought that Ian guy was pretty cool, but he liked this, so I don't know.
Uh-oh.
He's like, did you watch this all the way through? I'm like, well, no, just the first one, but the rest is good, right? And he's like, I'm like, oh, come on, it can't be that bad. It was that bad. It's
Oh.
oof.
Oh.
But that first episode, yeah, if you can find that and just watch that by itself, that's a lot of fun.
Okay.
Just pretend the rest of it didn't happen.
I forgot that Darkstalkers had an American cartoon, which is wild to me. Like that's a very, very obscure thing. Like what?
Yeah.
Wow, they were making cartoons out of everything back then. Wow, incredible. Oh well. Here's one from Certified Nobody. Is B theory canon?
To what? Life?
I'm not 100% sure. I had to look up B theory, and I'm not even sure if what I looked up was actually what they were referring to.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about the dubiously accredited to Albert Einstein statement that human civilization would collapse if we lost the honeybee,
Yeah.
assuming that is what they're talking about, no, it certainly wouldn't be good.
No.
But there are other pollinators in the world, and if there's one thing humans are good at, it's finding ways to work around the problems that we've made for ourselves. So it would not be doomsday, but it certainly wouldn't be a walk in the park.
This is apparently a joke about Sunset City or something. I don't know.
It is going over my head,
much
like a bee.
Yes, they do that sometimes. I don't know what's going on. Sorry, we're old. It is the theory that magical bees create the rings in Sonic's world by flying in circles.
I have never heard of that.
No clue.
I have heard some weird stuff about Sonic fan theory stuff, but I have never heard of that.
Apparently it's a joke, obviously.
But still, I haven't heard that at all. Wow.
Huh. Well, maybe they'll have some bee drones someday.
Well, that joke has been sufficiently beaten to death. Let's move on.
Yes, let's do that. Here's one from Adara T. What do you think about Mephiles? Would you like to see him back in action?
He served his purpose in Sonic 06. Dan Green is 90% of the reason why I like Mephiles. But otherwise, I'm not a fan. He's derivative of Shadow in every way. His motivation is simple, which is fine for the game, but that's about it. And his modus operandi is idiotic. So he had his fun. He did his thing. He went out in a blaze of glory. He's done. That's fine. That's nice. He can go away now.
Here's a question from Boney Cheese. It's Treasure Team Tango 2, Electric Boogaloo, Team Dark, Babylon Rogues, Team Rose from the games, and for goofs, the imposters, in an all-out brawl. What happens?
I could be really pedantic here and say which team rose from the games, but I know.
Yeah, yeah, Blaze or Big, or the one with Blaze, the one with Big, the one with
Vector.
Vector, yeah.
Technically, there's been Vector on the team more often than the other two.
Gemerl.
Yeah. No. Let's focus on the classic Heroes team. That's where it originated.
Okay.
Treasure Team Tango. Well, what are they after? You know, what is the central MacGuffin?
They're after treasure.
Let's say it's the Warp Topaz. It showed back up.
Mm-hmm.
And in the wrong hands, that can cause a lot of problems. And Babylon Rogues would love to get a hold of it and sell it off to the highest bidder. Team Rose wants to keep it out of the hands of the bad guys. Surge, Kit, and Starline wanted Starline to get it back, and Surge for the power it could do and give her, and Kit because Surge wants it. And Team Dark, same reason as Team Rose, but they don't play nice with anybody else, so forced conflict because that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, it would kind of play out like the original Treasure Team Tango. A lot of hijinks, a lot of hot potato with the MacGuffin. Just have fun with the character interactions for the most part.
Yeah. That was a fun arc. That was a fun arc. I missed that arc.
Have a badass fight between Shadow and Surge.
Oh boy. I think it's time for the comic to officially explore that one.
Reveal that Starline has this absolutely deep-seated hatred of Omega for destroying all of Eggman's robots. How dare you?
Yes. I like it. All right. Next question is actually from Surge the Tenrec. Wow, how convenient. What's worse, the Thanos snap or the Super Genesis wave?
Super Genesis wave, because at least the snap got reversed.
The snap got reversed, and it only took out half the universe instead of the whole thing. Actually, it didn't take out any of the universe. It just took out the people in the universe. Well, it took out the living things in the universe, and only half of them. So
yeah, the snap is small potatoes.
Yeah, pretty much. Here's one from Joe M. Was Eggman going to keep Snively alive in the capsule by having him be fed and cleaned? Or when he said the rest of his life, did he mean until he starved to death?
Oh, no, he'd keep him alive. I mean, you can't really gloat for years on end if your captive is dead in a week.
Yeah, that's
it wouldn't
fun.
be a great situation to live in, but yeah, he'd keep him alive.
You might wish he was dead, but...
Like, there were greater plans for Snively. That was not the end for Snively. I had my ideas, but Lost Head Chuck Tails, you know the deal.
And our last question before we take a quick break comes to us from Stephen A. Admit it, Ian. You want to write a comic where Sonic has to become in charge of a ring cartel, where Knuckles is a cop on the edge. You're out of line, Knuckles. Turn in your gun and your badge. You're out of line.
First you get the power rings, then you get the flickies, and then you get the chaos emeralds. Say hello to my Leo friend. Hello.
Hello. You're out of line, Knuckles. You've been out of line.
I make my own lines.
Yes.
What does that even mean? It means I'm an improvisist. Knuckles, no, get back. I'm going to hand you back your badge. Explain what the hell you're trying to say.
Say my name.
The elevators in the precinct are broken. Looks like I'm going to have to jump.
He's going to have to glide.
Can you imagine Idris Elba saying that line?
Looks like you're
with all sincerity.
It looks like you're gonna have to jump.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Wow, incredible. All right, well, while we stew on that for a bit, let's take a quick break and then come right on back with more BumbleKast. We're back, and it's time for more questions. So let's answer them. This one is from Craigamation983. Do Metal Sonic and Omega have an animal inside them like Gamma, or are they powered by a power core or something else?
I figure something else. Like, I don't see where an animal would fit in Metal Sonic, because that torso is turbine and that head's got all the CPU and stuff in it. As for Omega, I don't know. I've seen some speculation that it's got the angriest flicky alive piloting it, but
I mean,
beyond that, I don't know.
Blame it for, could you blame that flicky for being
no, not at all.
Super insanely incensed?
I mean, I would love to see, they finally get the animal out and it's just like, why did you take me out? And climbs right back in.
Yep. I am not powerful enough in that
Omega
form.
Shredded during Metal Virus, and no animal came out, so I guess he doesn't.
Aww.
Unless he was hiding with that tiny head. I mean,
could be.
Maybe.
Come on, Sega, you can do it. Here's one from Rosemary R. If Sega and Sonic Team allowed you to use Infinite and Jackal Squad in IDW comics, would you put them in? Also, would you use the Phantom Ruby powers for Infinite, or would he just be using his sword in the comics?
All depends on how Sega wants to bring him back, if they want to bring him back. I mean, Jackal Squad is supposed to be dead at this point. Shrug emoji.
Yeah, well, you know how fictional death works, Ian.
Yeah, yeah,
Especially
yeah.
in Sonic.
And if Infinite did come back, if he still got the Phantom Ruby powers, I hope there's some way that they're nerfed. Because right now he's like end boss level powerful, just kind of ridiculous. If you tone him down just a little bit, he could be a more accessible member of the Rogues Gallery. But I don't know. It's really entirely up to them, and I have to work within those parameters.
Alrighty, here's one from Blue Velocity 91. How do you think an interaction between Starline and Snively would go down? Would there be any respect between the two?
No, not at all.
No, I was gonna say Snively kind of
And if we're talking
was
like
going on his own thing. He was trying to take down Robotnik for his own means.
Yeah. If we're talking like just before his incarceration, like around the time he left Hope behind and rejoined the Eggman Empire, he'd already been kind of revolving door backstabby,
Yeah.
which Starline would not abide. Even in his present state, he wants to rule with Eggman. So someone who's just outright treasonous? Goodness gracious, how horrifying.
Yeah.
Whereas Snively would just gag at the fanboyism. Like, you see how flawed a man he is, and yet you're still wanting to work with him. You still aspire to be like him. Just no, you putz, get out of here. there would be a lot of like backhanded compliments and glaring daggers at each other, and just snippy little remarks in the background.
Oh man, that would be fun.
That would be
Yes. Oh boy, could happen. Snively's in the same boat as the Freedom Fighters, so maybe it could happen at some
Freedom
point.
Fighters
Eventually.
can claim one game appearance.
Yeah, true.
Snively doesn't even have that.
I suppose. So. Oh well.
I can only push one Sisyphean boulder at a time.
I know. You're trying. Here's a question from Tony C. I just realized there are no Overlanders in Moebius / Anti-Mobius. What were they? Or
they're around.
I'm thinking they might have been wanting to ask where are they, but
yeah. I mean, being Overlanders, I'm tempted to call them Underwaterers, but that doesn't quite.
Undergrounders.
Yeah. There you go. But I don't know. The anti-versions of the primary cast and their extended cast were more interesting. But they exist. I mean, the great piece had to be with somebody, Might as well be the Undergrounders.
Mm-hmm. They are mole men, yes.
I mean, the whole human and Overlander thing was not that deeply explored anyway. So maybe that's why we never really got into it. We would have to better define them to actually have an antithesis.
It could have been interesting, but it wasn't.
But like I said, I would have rather spent more time. Like, if we had more time in the Antiverse, I would want to see more of Onux and the Orderics and, the fun what ifs on the Sega characters. And then if we have the ability to go, a little indulgent, go on to the greater comic verse. But that's not what people primarily come for,
Mm-hmm. All right, here's one from Raphael C. Do you know anything about Sonic's canonical origins or childhood? Would it be something like the movie version, being raised by Longclaw?
I have heard that there is an internal official origin, but I do not know it. I would be very surprised if it was analogous at all with the Longclaw story, but I don't know I don't know any details myself, and I don't even know if that, there's a story was, legit or just kind of like a hand wave of stop asking us. I don't know.
I mean, there's the old Sonic Bible stuff, but I'm pretty sure most of that's not really super relevant anymore. Aside from it seemed like some elements of that came up in the movie, but even still, it was just surface level, to be fair. Oh. Next question is from Syed C. I think it would have been interesting if Classic Sonic Enforces was a Phantom Ruby projection.
certainly would be a little more. I don't know if it would be simpler, but I'd like it better.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we've got this whole alternate past dimensional split going on, the less crossover, the better, in my opinion. That's just asking for trouble.
Oh, well, if it's asking for trouble, then that means they're just going to do it more often.
No.
Yes. Yes, it does, because, you know how Sega is. Sonic Team. Tell them. You know how they are. Here's a question from Marshall H. What's your own personal ideas for a Metal Sonic 3.0? What do you think happened to 2.0? What model number are we even on right now?
Aside from having that kick-ass color scheme, 3.0 didn't really seem to do anything differently than regular metal. So really, what can you do? Be faster? Just be a better Metal Sonic?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of cool in the Dragon Ball Z escalation type of thing, but that's also kind of boring. So I don't know. You'd have to establish something about it. Does it have a character? Is it Shard in a sense?
Mm-hmm.
Or does it have different attacks? The game doesn't suggest so, but extrapolate, build on it. Does it have a different relationship with its creator? There's a lot of work that would need to be done to make 3.0 a character and not what it is, which is just a new skin on Metal Sonic. As for 2.0, I don't know. I did hear a rumor once that the original Metal Sonic was destroyed for his insubordination in Heroes, and that the one we've seen ever since was the rebuilt one that is programmed to be perfectly loyal. But that's not backed up by anything in the games. So I don't know if that's a scrapped idea or if it was pitched and never picked up. I don't know. So maybe we're looking at 2.0. Maybe 2.0 happened in the nebulous between times between Eggman and Nega. I don't know.
Yeah. Hashtag hard for Shard.
No. No. Kyle.
I didn't come up with it.
Yeah, just said it.
You're welcome. Here's one from Diego I. Is it possible to have a second book to help build the lore like Sonic Universe? Most of my favorite Sonic stories do not have Sonic in them. Yeah, I agree.
There are current roadblocks to a full-on sister title, but you keep buying books and you keep asking for it, it's going to be harder and harder for folks to say no or to find ways to overcome those roadblocks. So if you want to see a second book like Sonic Universe, write to IDW and support the books that do come out, because as long as they can show that Sonic is a moneymaker, there's reason to make more Sonic.
Well, I mean, Sonic obviously is a moneymaker, so what's the holdup? Business is weird. Business. Here's a question from Sonic Mania 2099. Did Cream anger someone in this stuff? I think they meant staff. Why did she suffer so much during the Metal Virus arc? I still hate zombie stories.
Folks wanted to see Cream do things. They wanted to see her heroism. Well, there you go.
They wanted to see Cream. Bring Cream back. No, not like this.
I mean, she got into the mix. She was in one of the most harrowing adventures Sonic and Friends have ever faced, and she lasted till the very end. I gave you what you wanted.
This is
you
what
just didn't know that's what you were asking for.
This is what you wanted. Oh man. Good stuff, Ian. Nice. Here's one from Robin M. What is your dream Sonic multiverse story?
The sequel to Worlds Unite, where we get the Mario license.
Oh boy, that would require more than, I think, 12 issues.
Well,
maybe
we could still probably do it in 12, but we would have to be a little more restrained in scope.
You might have to not bring in so much of the other Capcom, Sega, and Nintendo characters.
Yeah, no 16 IP crossover. Keep it to Sonic classic Mega Man
Yeah.
and Mario, but
Yeah. You can still have some fun with it though.
sure. I
Yeah.
also got a back pocket pitch for Sonic and Knights that I want to do someday.
Mm-hmm.
It would be super easy to do. I just want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Could do it. I'm seeing Sonic and TMNT, please.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Before anyone asks again,
Uh-huh.
Sonic and My Little Pony, sure, it could work.
Yep. Sure, why not?
And if we're talking like strictly Sonic multiverse, then it'd be fun to see, the other incarnations of Sonic all come together, Spider-Verse style.
Mm-hmm.
Call it a half dozen Eggmen.
Yeah. I'm ready. Here's one from Toad is Forgotten. Is Sega going to make a new Sonic Riders game?
I don't know.
Well, considering how well Free Riders was received,
that
it wasn't.
That's because it got chained to the Kinect anchor and thrown out to sea.
Yeah, well, you know how executives are, Ian. They didn't like it, so it's gone forever. No, we just didn't like this part of it. Oh well.
I mean, I will always champion returning to form with Sonic R style Sonic racing game, but as fun as the All-Star Racing games were and Team Sonic Racing was, those are still, kind of your mascot kart racers. We've seen a billion of those, and they were all very solid racing games. Don't get me wrong. They're great. But at least Riders was different, It had its own thing going on, and that apparently is the only way we can see the Babylon Rogues that isn't a mobile game. So,
and they're always on their boards, like no matter what in other games, which is weird. Like, unglue your shoes from the boards, guys. You don't got to be stuck to them.
I mean, I would be cool with another Riders game. I have no idea if that's what they're going to do, if they're going to try something brand new or what.
Yeah, well, maybe eventually we'll see them again. We'll see more Riders. Here's one from Omegadra. Are Shadow and Surge going to meet? If not, how would their meeting go?
I would assume we'd have them cross paths at some point, whether I do it or Evan does it.
Oh boy.
I mean, I don't want to pitch anything off the top of my head here because, goodness, we might actually see it happen. So it will not go well. I'm pretty sure of that.
But can she beat Goku? I don't know why this is coming up from the chat, but here it is. I would like to see it. Yes. Here's one from the Uranium Skull. What will Tails wear if he had clothes? And don't say a lab coat or overalls.
Well, I mean, what can you wear that doesn't impede the tails?
Yeah.
Like all forms of pants are kind of right out. Can't even go with like a kilt because that would hang. So
Honey can make something for him. She knows what's up. She could figure something out.
Well, yeah, but I'm not her.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I don't know. Clothes. I don't know. Draw 'em whatever you want. Wearing whatever you want.
A very oddly styled poncho? I don't know.
He's just got a cloak. That's it. That's all he does. He just goes around wearing a cloak. All right. And we are at our final question for this week from Kasai T. If the Skunk Brothers were to have their own cereal, what would it taste like, and would you enjoy it? Or will they enjoy it? I don't know exactly where they're getting for this. There's a word missing here, but something like that.
Hold on. Give me a second. I need to do this correctly.
Okay. I have a good one from the chat, too, but...
It'll rot your teeth. It's the cookies that crumble. It's Munch and Crunch from Rough and Tumble.
Crunchy.
It would have absolutely zero nutritional value.
Well,
it would
of course.
become inedible slog in milk, but tooth-breakingly hard if you try to eat it dry. It's entirely overpriced. And it doesn't even have like a fun prize in the back. It's just got like a word search in the back, and all the answers are Rough and Tumble.
Yes.
Or it's a cutout cardboard mask, but it's still a full body shot of Rough and Tumble. So you're just wearing them flexing on your face. They promise you a fun CD-ROM game if you save up 100 UPCs within the allotted time frame. And what you get is one of those old Windows 95 maze backdrops. And every time you turn a corner, there's the picture of Rough and Tumble flexing once again.
Perfect. They absolutely will destroy the top of your mouth, the roof of your mouth. Oh boy, you're in trouble now. One suggestion from the chat is it's just rock candy. Which, yeah, I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of real cereal that's just rock candy. And what other name that came up with Stinky O's?
Turns the milk green.
Ew. No thanks. Do not want.
And we're not talking like a festive St. Patrick's Day green. I mean like oil slick in the parking lot after a heavy rain, gray green.
Oh, I was thinking like nuclear waste green. Oops, all sludge. Oh, terrible. They're trying to kill everybody, which would be kind of with them. Yeah.
You desperate to eat, tummy's starting to grumble. You might as well have some Rough and Tumbles.
All right. I think we've had enough. Maybe.
Yeah, we have. I guess I could make it a lot worse, but I'm not going to.
Why not?
Because instead, I'm going to focus on all the goodness that comes from the patrons over at Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast and Patreon.com/BumbleKast who support this show and their endless generosity.
Yes.
Big you to Daniel H., Alex P., James K., John B., Jennifer R., Robotnik Holmes, Samuel P., Sam Cyber, Cat Torchbound, Mike B., Coupling Crew 128, DK, Duas Diz Din, Dave M., Andrew D., Off, Salute Your Cat, Scruffy Matt, J. Frost, Chris A., Sony, Hero of Light 13, John M., Nani, Jeb, Don B., Yami M., Ryan D., Lee HK, Lisa M., Chevelle, Blue Title Gamer, Invade Turbo Tunis, Ben W., Fiona M., Tick Tick, Sonic, Final Neil, Xanderoni the Painter, Jonathan D., Dabbler the Dalek, Chaos Universe, Sonic Legacy, Godzilla, Nemric, Daniel B., Pedantic Cat, Solaris Stain, Dove, Red the Supernamic, Pendolce, The Name is X, Joe S., Chad, Nathan J., Ava Arctic, Jennifer H., Les, Preston M., Axis, Alphamon Uryukin, Professor Rye, Sapphire Scarletta, Cameron H., Noah S., Chase L., Scurvy Pirate Hog, Kojiro Hyman, Red Wolf, Joey the Sonic Fan, Callan Q, Kimiko, Radri, Owen BD, Netra 14, Just a Mountain Soul, Ty H, Maddie H, Audrey Shrugged, Turbo, Crooker, In Zephyr, KJB, Lewis J, Mox and Tails, Dream Boatin, Rusty Cook, For Sonic Fan, Chaos Voltage, Techno Cinema Derusival, Jolene B, Expired Bread 12, The Marble Gamer, no, the Marble Gardener. That is not something you can say 3 times fast. Lacey M, Unlikely Veronica, Alix 120, Goosey Tentai, Agent Kaz, Yoshi Milkman, Saturn Flicky, and Languorous Sky.
So many. You guys
Over
are awesome.
100.
Wow. And growing. Why don't you head on over to patreon.com/BumbleKast and join in? Make that number grow even bigger. Make my numbers grow. Anyway, that's all we got, Ian, right? I think? Maybe?
Yep.
Okay, good. Let's get out of here.
All right. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
Bye.
Just a quick aside. A moment where I amused myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ali and I have started getting into Genshin Impact.
Yes.
Which I could go on and on about because I thought it was just, you get your waifus and you run around. It's just a high budget cash grab. But it's a quality experience.
Mm-hmm.
Way more than I anticipated. I mean, yeah, it's got your waifus and your husbandos. That's part and parcel with it, but it's written way smarter than I expected. I'm learning new words, and the music is phenomenal, and the game itself is fun. So she's trying to roll for the new character Yaimiko, and instead she does a 10 roll. And she gets the premium unit Diluc, and all the other lesser characters in the banner, plus some weapons. So it was a really good roll, but it was not remotely what she wanted.
Right.
And so she's saying, what kind of luck is that? And she sees that the gears are turning in my head. She goes, what?
Oh, no.
He said, you didn't get the lady you wanted. You got the look. Yeah? Luck. No, excuse me. So what you want to say is, did luck be a lady tonight? Stop it. Did luck be a lady tonight? I'm walking away now.
Where's she gonna go? She's walking away now to the other side of the room because that's the only place she can go.
So I thought I was funny and I thought I'd share with the chat.
Nice. Very, very, very good. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org. I monster grow. After 10,000 years, I'm free. Time to conquer podcasts. Yeah. I don't think we'll be beating the McElroys anytime soon.
But what if I try to do a Goldar voice? Is that what Goldar sounded like? No, I think he was a bit deeper.
He was more. He was a little deeper, but that wasn't too far off.
Like, I remember him being especially menacing, especially when they fixed up his face to have kind of that built-in snarl. But he was still pretty damn goofy.
He is very good. Yeah? Well, I mean, we're talking Power Rangers, dude. Of course it's goofy. The whole thing's goofy.
I remember it being way more hardcore than it actually was.
Yeah. Wasn't there something with Lord Zed and duct tape? I thought, like, you couldn't tell on, old TVs at the old school resolution, but newer, when they remastered them with remastered the footage and upped the resolution, you could kind of tell there was a little bit going on there. A little bit of weird duct tape-ish stuff going on.
I just remember his initial introduction, and it's like this slow pan across, this glinting silver exoskeleton on what looks like exposed musculature.
Oh, yeah.
With tubes of blood weaving through it. I'm like, how are they getting away with this on children's television? I'm like, wow, Zed is so hardcore. And that lasted for the episode.
Yeah, and then after that,
then he throws his staff down to make the monster grow, and it's like, oh, this isn't changing at all, is it?
No, it's literally exactly the same. And then
it also bugged me that Goldar didn't keep his wings all the time. Those wings were cool, man.
Yeah. And then then Rita and Zed just became a bickering couple.
Yeah.
And became sort of the butt of a joke.
And then they get chased out by the clockwork villains of whoever, and by then I was very thoroughly aged out.
Yeah. They're called the Machine Empire, Ian, apparently.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't remember.
Read it for life.
I don't remember.
Hey, Goldar!
That is kind of what he sounded like, yeah. Yeah.
I feel like there's a bit more growl in there.
I mean, a little, but he's very silly. So, I'm being told to read Boom Studios Power Rangers. And I kind of am interested. It is apparently the Power Rangers comics are much better than you might expect.
I remember reading the beginning of it, and it was what you remember the Power Rangers being if you were a kid.
Uh-huh.
And then it started getting deeper and deeper into the extended universe lore, and I'm like, I'm missing the references here.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm falling off the boat, but what I did read was really cool.
Yeah, yeah. I know there's like a shattered grid and stuff. The fighting game is actually pretty neat too. So, all right. Well, are we done here?
We are done.